Welcome to Tuesday Night Mental Wellness. I am Sarah Hine hosting tonight, sharing really awesome inspirational stories every Tuesday night live at 7 p.m. Central with people who have had unique experiences on Amari Global's brand and how they've been incorporating it into their everyday life. And tonight's a real treat because we have two people that have something in common. They're both fitness trainers, but both with very, very different stories, which I think is pretty cool. And just goes to show that never judge a book by its cover. And just because they're in the same industry, everyone's story matters and it's unique to themselves. And everybody has something that they struggle with or something that they've been through. So I'm going to start with Carl tonight because he has been a personal trainer for almost 30 years and he grew up in Michigan. So he's from the Midwest, where he met his amazing wife and has a teenage daughter, and also lost his second shortly before her first birthday. So Carl, you've been through a lot. And he now owns and has operated two Fundamental Fitness in 2 countries in the US and Canada, and has helped hundreds of clients become healthier and happier versions of themselves. What a story, Carl. And wow, what you've been through and yet still accomplished. And so it's a real honor to have you on this evening. So we're going to start with Carl, but before we get into Carl's story, I also want to introduce the amazing Emily Whitney. And Emily, I've been calling you Erin. I don't know why, but I've been calling you Erin. That's my new nickname for you. And Pam keeps texting me going, "It's Emily."
Maybe that's my doppelganger.
And so for some reason, I'm like, I've got issues. But Emily, you also have quite the story. And I'm just pulling up your little bio here that you also are a fitness instructor and really went through your own personal health journey. And that journey's been going on for a long time that you're going to share with tonight. And you really have had a turnaround in your own health story of dealing with eating disorders and all the things that it led to, and are also coaching and really supporting a lot of people with their health journey. So it sounds like your health journey inspired you to serve and help others as well, which is pretty exciting. So welcome both of you, and we're really excited to deep dive a little bit into each of your stories. And so Carl, we're going to start with you tonight. Tell us a little bit about where you were before Amari came into your life. We'd love to hear a little bit of that story.
Okay, so I have a pretty incredible story, specifically related to Amari, but I didn't know it was going to be Amari that was going to change my health trajectory. So it started in Canada, and I woke up one morning and I had crazy numbness in my leg, to the point where I couldn't feel anything. And I'm going to try to keep this streamlined and short because it is a long story, but I'll keep it short. And I told my wife, I said, "Look, I got to go to the ER." And she says, "What are you talking about?" It was like 6:30 in the morning. I said, "My leg is completely numb." And she thought it was a pinched nerve. And me being in the fitness industry, I know what a pinched nerve is, but I said, okay, this is something different. So I ended up waiting 13 hours in the ER in a Canadian waiting room. Finally was seen. They ran all kinds of tests on me, MRIs and every test under the sun. And it came back about 7 o'clock that night. So I was in there a whole day, and they said, "Okay, there's nothing acute. There's no stroke. There's nothing like that. But we want you to follow up with urgent neurology." So I followed up with them, and they said, "Do me a favor and bring your wife with you." And I said, "Wow, this is concerning. Why do they need her?" So he sits down with me and he says, "I'm looking at your MRI and you see these lesions on your brain." And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "These are consistent with patients with MS." So immediately we fell to the floor and So after that, I'm going to fast forward just a little bit because I don't want to take too much time. But after going through many, many tests and lots of different therapies, including acupuncture and different kinds of herb treatment and different diets, the good news is I was going to take my health into my own hands, and I did feel a little bit of difference over the time. And then eventually my wife got promoted to Wisconsin and we moved here. And of course I had to rebuild my business again. And that's where I ran into Julie Kleist. And we met at a networking event, and she said that she was part of a mental wellness group. And I said, or business. And I said, could you tell me a little bit more about that? And she said that it was related to gut health. And so there's so much more behind the story that I'm not telling, but let's just say I went to a naturopath and I had a stool sample done, and they found some really crazy findings. One being I had like no good bacteria in my gut, and I had parasites, and I had a couple other little things going on. And it didn't even occur to me until way after that antibiotics kill gut bacteria. And I never thought that I was in antibiotics, but then I went back to high school when I had a couple of different injuries that required me to go on antibiotics and decimated my gut. Anyway, fast forward to Wisconsin, I meet Julie, and as soon as she said gut health, I was like, boom, 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 because I've been studying this since my probable diagnosis, which to this day I still don't have the actual diagnosis, but they told me it's probable. So then as time went on, Julie says, okay, I want you to try this regimen that could work for you. No guarantees. So I said, okay, fine. I'll start the fundamentals. And I started taking it, and it wasn't really noticing anything. And then she asked me, are you being consistent with it? And I was honest. I said no. And then she says, let me get my friend Andrea on the phone. And then Andrea's like, Carl, if somebody works out 1 day a week, are they going to get results? And I said, no, do me a favor, just take it for 60 to 90 days and see what happens. So as time went on, things started to get better. My digestion started getting better. My bloating I used to have started getting better. The numbness in my foot started to get better. This is something that was plaguing me for 5 years. And all of a sudden it started to get better. And I woke up one day and it was gone. And it was something that kept me from running for a year. That's how bad it was. So that's when I was like, okay, there's something to these products. And it all boils down to gut. So that's my story.
And Carl, would you say that what happened to the lesions that they found? Have you had tests since then?
I've had at least 5 MRIs since, and they are stable and unchanged.
Wow.
So they're still there, but they're stable and unchanged.
Yep. And your symptoms have improved greatly.
I used to have numbness in my fingers. I used to have creepy crawlies all over my body that felt like bugs crawling on me. And it was all neurological, right? So all stemming from the gut.
Wow, so fascinating. Carl, that's an amazing story. And we're going to come back to you in just a second. But Emily, we want to hear your story, because you know what I find fascinating with both of these people is that they're both fitness instructors and they both look healthy and they both take really good care of themselves. And so to me, it's just fascinating that you are such an example of so many people that are taking care of themselves, that are still struggling. They're doing all the right things and something's still off. So Emily, tell us what was off for you before Amari.
Long, complicated, condensed story, of course. I've struggled on and off with IBS, which means, they don't know what it is. That is your, like, throw this label at it. I've had endoscopies done, colonoscopies done, That started about when I was 21. I started noticing that. I had struggled with eating disorders that developed in high school. And now looking back, that definitely I helped create some of my problems, but struggled with the painful bloating, struggled with the constant diarrhea. I mean, and I did it all. I went to the doctors, had all those tests done, and then they threw the IBS at it, right? So I did elimination diets. I did allergy testing. I did, and at this point, I'm a single mom and having to like grocery shop all natural and just crying like I have no hope. Someone give me hope, right? So struggled through all of those things. I would go through bouts of gaining weight when I'm training for a marathon and teaching a full load of classes. And no doctors like doing my labs. Oh, maybe it's thyroid, but you're borderline. So no answers. So I think I'd kind of succumbed to the fact that bloating, painful bloating, and diarrhea were just my constant companion. And sometimes they were worse, sometimes they were better, but they would just always be here. I have fought through a lot of obsessive compulsive watching my eating, and then brought it back into the healthy zone and tried the different diets and to stabilize. But, something was just always off. And, the whole calories in, calories out. I said, well, that doesn't work for me because I work out awesome. I eat awesome. And my weight just is what it is. Right. And so I just came to terms with it, that it's always a constant battle that I have to fight 10 times as hard to get the results that other people have. And I just wanted hope, and I wanted healing, and I wanted balance, but I kind of had given up hope. And that's when, Amari met me, where I had basically decided this was just how it was going to be. And I'm thankful for what I have, and I'm just going to have to soldier on.
Wow. Both of you have such unique stories, like all of us, but so similar in the sense that you had some things going on. Carl, yours came on really, really sudden. Emily, you had yours long and drawn out. But the bottom line is, it's the same common denominator, is that oftentimes when we go to the doctors, we run all these tests, they may or may not kind of label us with something, but usually there's not a whole lot that they tell us to do in day-to-day life. And so what's really frustrating is when it happens to people that are already really trying to take care of themselves, because it's like, well, then what's next? And that's what I think also very interesting in both of your stories. Emily, when you got onto Amare, tell us where you're at now. Tell us, what is your story today?
Well, I'm a unique case. Nothing in my life has ever seemed to be easy, but that's okay, So it was a journey with Amari. It wasn't your typical, you get right on and everyone's seeing these awesome changes. And, I go on the Gut Instinct page and I see all these awesome things, but for me, it wasn't instantaneous. It was a trial and error, but I'll be honest, it was the relationship I had with the two girls who led me to Amari that kept me in this. Because how many times, if we don't see instant results, we just chalk it up to, this is just another one of those things that promised. And like, this is another discouragement. I just can't go any further. Right. And I was there, but I think the different thing about the people who are in Amari and why they're attracted to Amari is the passion that Amari has, and the integrity and honor that we're going to walk this journey with you. We're not just going to give you these supplements and say, hey, great, you bought them from us, have fun. But walking the journey, getting in there and saying, hey, talk to me. If it's not working, let's go at it. Like, let's find a different avenue. And Pam was phenomenal to go up. I mean, I think she even submitted questions to Dr. Sean and, said, hey, I want to follow this, because I was tricky, I was unique is what we call it. And I had done the fundamentals, I'd done digestive. Everyone was so awesome. The Amari community was so awesome at, saying, hey, this is what's worked for other people with IBS. Let's try this with you. and going slowly. And there were times where I was discouraged and I was going to call it quits because I'm like, I can't hope anymore, and they just kept saying, like, stick with it. And the integrity of the company, the integrity of the people who led me to it is what kept me going. So that to me is key. I was getting finally, after about I think 9 months, getting some relief, and then intro GBX fit. And for whatever reason, that has seemed to be the key to really propelling my gut healing.
So taking the fundamentals and then adding that GBX fit to it was like the kind of the icing on the cake for you. What I'm hearing from both of you is the importance of community and staying connected and staying in touch and working through the hards, and to give it time. For those of you that are listening, and you might have, I guarantee you, there is not one person listening to this and all the thousands that will listen to the replay. You're all unique. We're all made fearfully and wonderfully, and we're all unique.
Amen.
And it just takes time. And I think we've been so brainwashed and band-aided, become a band-aided society, that we want that instant gratification. Of course, we all want to feel better right now, but it does take time. It does take commitment. I love what Carl was told, like, could you work out one day a week and get the results that you want? Like, right? It's something of staying that consistency. Both of you being fitness trainers, now that you've had these personal experiences and you found a brand that really, really did a transformation on your own health, how are you leveraging this with your clients? How has that changed for you? Carl, how has this experience that you went through changed how you help others?
Yeah, all right. So I told Julie, and Andrea knows this as well. In the beginning, I had a hard time selling products to clients because I was already charging them training, and I felt like I was overselling them. But it wasn't until I was actually giving them something that was making a difference in their lives. And this is 100%. I think they said 92% of people that are on GBX Fit get results. 100% of the people that have ordered GBX from me, that followed the program, not just took the pill, because it's not it's so true that there's no such thing as a magic pill. There's a magic program, but there's no magic pill. So the people that were following the program and still are following the program started with less bloating. I think a big thing was not craving sugar when they normally crave sugar. For us, it was not craving that glass of wine at 8 o'clock when we finally sit down on the couch, or 9 o'clock when we finally sit down on the couch. And we recognize that, and that is amazing. And the fact that it makes fasting that much easier, because fasting on its own is not so easy. It's a habit, and it takes a little bit of time to get into that habit. But once you establish that habit, it's no big deal. So you talk to people that have never fasted, and they're like, that's the craziest thing. I would never do that. I don't know, I get dizzy and all this. It's a process. It's something you have to work into. And I'll never look back now. And I've done fasting before, but this has made things just so much easier for me and my wife, and all my clients are saying so I have no problem talking to my clients about the GBX Fit anymore, because it's getting results.
I love it. And Carl, what I found over the years for people, I mean, you're a small business owner, right? And you work with the public, and it is so important as a small business owner, or whether it's a fitness instructor or a healthcare practitioner or massage therapist, whatever it is that you're in, when you have client base, they need tools for everyday life. And if you don't provide them, they're going to go to Costco, CVS, a drug food store, a health food store, and you do not know what they're getting. They do not know what they're getting, and they're spending money, and they're making money for somebody else, but not maybe getting top shelf quality products that actually work and are really helping them. And so it is essential that when we find something that works, shout it out from the rooftops. And it's okay if you earn income from that, because we all need to make income, and it's either you making income or Costco making income. What's the difference? But as long as it works and it's quality and it's actually making a difference. That's the key. That's the key, because health is a full balance, right? It's what we eat, it's our exercise, it's our environment, it's when we eat. It's like you said, Carl, following the program of GBX Fit, the intermittent fasting, doing the protein, doing the GBX Fit, eating during certain hours and not during eating certain hours. It's so essential to give them all the tools. And I just love that both of you were able to overcome these pretty hard challenges in your life. And now you get to serve others. I just love it. It's so empowering. Emily, how has this changed you in working with your clients, in sharing Amari with them? And how has this helped them? Like, what are you seeing with your clients?
So I am just a fitness instructor. I'm not a personal trainer as of now, but I can tell you what I'm seeing with me and how this is. I have people who trust me. I have a wide audience of people who have taken my classes over the year, who are friends, and they know that I've gone through eating disorders. They know that I broach things differently, and I definitely broach the GBX system differently because of eating disorders. Because I want to stay clear from the whole point of this program is to have freedom. And to not, so I mean, it is the most freeing program I've ever been onto, but I was very careful and very skeptical moving into it because of my past eating disorder triggers. Like I can't, my focus is not on fasting. I change it to fueling. I need the focus to be on the fuel when you're intaking healthy nutrition, not and when you're not intaking it, because it trips a trigger in me. And once you have walked through eating disorders, you truly for the rest of your life are trying to stay free, and it's always trying to trip it up, right? So when I watched the video on Dr. Sean before it was actually released, I literally wanted to reach through the screen like this and pull him by his collars and pull him in and say, "Dear sir, I appreciate what you're saying, but please do not give me false hope." Like, because it resonated with me for the first time. I'm like, yes, oh my gosh, that's literally what I've been dealing with my whole life, where I eat good, I work out, I still have horrible, painful bloating, diarrhea, and I cannot lose weight. I have to fight not to gain it. And so I am all about staying free. And so I changed the terminology with myself. It's a fueling window, not a fasting window. It's allowing my belly rest, not fast. It's not breaking the fast. It's beginning to fuel. And that's how I broach it with anyone who's had food related strongholds, because it is so key to meet someone right where they're at and to let them realize that there's freedom. So I changed the terminology so that I can stay free myself. And as I'm finding freedom in this program, I'm ready to start sharing it, because people trust me and I value and I have integrity in their trust. So I have said, I will never, ever tell you anything that I'm on unless it's proven itself 110% to me. And can I just tell you that I'm there? Amari has proven itself to me, not only in its character and its integrity and the people in that community, but the GBX program is the first thing. I literally cried when I watched the deep dive, because it was the first thing that made sense. And I'm seeing it. But my focus in this program and getting the results is actually my strength has increased significantly since December. I have gone from the max I used to use for weights was 15s up to now I'm at 25s and 30s. I've never been able to do that, but in a balanced way, Sarah, for the first time, not obsessive compulsive, not killing it to the point of exhaustion. Literally freedom and balance and hope is what this has brought to me. My endurance is increasing. I could barely get through 45 minutes of this workout. And now I can do 2 back-to-back if I miss a day to catch up. And I'm like, I could not do that before. And people are like, well, you're just killing it. You're working out and that's why you're getting your results. I'm like, you guys, I used to teach a full load of classes. And I used to be extremely disciplined in my eating, and I didn't get the results that I'm seeing now. This is bringing me freedom, strength, health, endurance, freedom, and healing in my gut. And then caption, losing inches. Like, that's my side caption. Losing inches. I'm staying off the scale. I don't ask anyone, how many pounds do you want to lose? My focus in this is about all of the other primary things that GBX system and Amari bring. And then, hey, hashtag side note. Also, if you have overweight that you want to get rid of because it's slowing you down from being who you should be, then hey, that's helping too. And it has been. And I put my husband on it, Sarah, and I really hope he's not watching this or doesn't watch it, because he doesn't normally stick to anything. Like, he's an instant result or he's out, right? And can I just tell you, he has a genetic heart issue that's going on, that he got, the doctors 3 months ago said, you have to get real serious, because he's trying to stave it off. So we're talking life changing here. And his test scared him enough that he was willing to try this. And I said, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what it's working. If you're ready, like, I'll put you on this. And he has followed it. And I am so impressed, Sarah, because he has been a rock star in it, and it's been freedom. And he just got his labs back on Friday. Can I share that with you?
Yeah,
He's
please.
not only has his cholesterol, his LDL cholesterol has dropped 14% in 3
Wow.
months. 14. His triglycerides are down 37%. We're talking from 37%. Okay.
Wow.
And his other cholesterol, which I don't even know what that means, but his other cholesterol is down 13. So we're talking 13%, 14%, and then triglycerides down 37%. This is life-changing for him and our family. Like, no, labs don't lie. Like, you can talk about pounds, you can talk about inches, but we're talking about life-saving, life-changing things here for him and my family. And that's what I'm seeing. Like, this is so much more. And Amari said, when they set out to do a weight loss program, they're going to do it different. And this is unlike anything I've done before.
I couldn't agree more. What I love about both of you, both Emily and Carl, is that you guys are very powerful. For those listening, that it's for men and women. Emily, just sharing your husband's story, it's incredible. It's amazing what our gut controls. And it's amazing how we didn't know what we didn't know, 5-10 years ago. I can't tell you the messages I get on a daily basis of people literally crying to me or texting me, writing me, saying, this is an answer to a prayer. I just had another woman reach out to me today and found me on social media and said that she had been praying for something to come into her life. And she had no idea it would be this. And so I'm listening to your husband's test results, and that's just absolutely remarkable. So for those of you listening, whatever you've got going on, your unique story, whatever your health journey is, whether it came on sudden like Carl's, or it's something that's been underlying for a long time like Emily, and probably even for you, Carl, there were probably signs, but maybe it wasn't until you really got into the numbness and the neurology type symptoms that came on hard and fast. I look at my husband's rare disease, and it wasn't until he had one day he couldn't hear that it hit us. But looking back, there were signs, we just missed it, because life is busy, life is full. So when he was more tired or had headaches more frequently, we kind of just thought, oh, he's just stressed. But we need to listen to every sign. We need to listen to every sign to our body. I want to encourage all of you on that, because that's prevention for something perhaps, bigger. Carl, I'm really excited for your story to keep doing what you're doing. And it's going to be real fun to see what happens.
Thank you, Sarah.
So we pray that there's no changes. And even I'm seeing so many people starting to say that their gut restoration over a couple of years, they're reversing, like literally reversing aging. And there is truth to that. I feel it. I completely feel it in my own health. So I want to also put that out there, that this is not a quick fix. This is a lifestyle change. And Emily, people are writing in the chat box, life changing, what's happened to you and your husband, and same to Carl, life changing. And so it's lifestyle. So Both Carl and Emily, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing your story, sharing the vulnerabilities of what was hard in your life, what was scary, intimidating, probably at times felt pretty hopeless. And
Absolutely.
here, you know, somebody brought something to you, stuck
Yeah.
beside you, even when you didn't think it was working, you questioned it, you didn't quit, you didn't give up. So, Carl, any last words you'd like to say to everybody that's on your heart?
Yeah. So it's one thing for us to take these products and get results. But once we start seeing loved ones, like my wife was skeptical in the beginning, now she's saying that she's got better concentration at work. Her head boss, who's the general manager, who's a super high performer, he says he's never taken a product like this in his life. Now that you want to talk about powerful, this is a guy that could take anything he wants. He could, buy anything he wants. And he's used everything under the sun. And this is the one thing that actually worked for him. And there's just story after story of this happening from people having just amazing results from it. So it's about other people. Sure, it's about us, but when we see other people get results, positive results, that's what makes the change happen, right? That's what makes you get excited when you see your clients losing weight and all the positive results that are coming from the program and the products. So.
Amen, Carl. Well said. It's paying it forward. And there's nothing sweeter than seeing someone else's life be, their health journey be rewritten. I couldn't agree more. Emily, any last thoughts you want to share with everybody of encouragement?
Yeah, I just want to encourage everyone that you are all, like you said, fearfully and wonderfully made. You are all unique. So stop comparing your story to someone else's. Just live your story, but let other people into it. Let that community into it so that we can come around you and we can help you. Like, Amari is not just one of those supplement companies that just wants to sell stuff. Like, they are changing life and their heart is to change life. And you can be one of them. Like, I'm here with you. I was the biggest skeptic ever. And now I am a firm believer because what if it's doing for me and my loved ones? And so stop comparing yourself in every aspect, everyone, and find that value and balance in yourself and value yourself enough to go after that health, go after that freedom, and know that that's what can be yours when you are consistent, you have tenacity and endurance, and you realize you're worth fighting for and you are worthy. So I just want to encourage you, stick to it, stay to it, talk to people. If you're struggling, reach out, because there's a community here that is wanting to walk this journey with you. And my journey is just beginning. I'll walk it with you too. It's all about freedom, health, and breakthroughs. And that's what I'm seeing. And that's what I'm so thankful for. I'm so thankful for Pam and Martha and for reaching out and walking me through this. So thank you, Amari.
I love it. I love it. So listen, we're going to leave you with this. Everyone's thanking both of you, Carl and Emily, for the amazing encouragement and inspiration you've given them tonight, sharing your vulnerable stories. And I want to encourage all of you to share this with a couple of loved ones. Share this with a couple of people you don't know. You could have looked at Carl and Emily and looked at them and see them as a picture of health and never had an idea several months ago what they were really going through. We do not know what people are going through behind closed doors. And so if you have somebody who's prompted on your heart, reach out to them. There's a reason why, I believe there's a reason why God puts people's names on our hearts. It's imprinted there for a reason. Reach out to them and see if maybe this could help them feel better, right? Help them sleep better, help them have what Carl said, his wife is starting to feel like better concentration. That in itself is golden, to have more concentration. It's like your productivity and everything from doing your laundry to working, it goes up. And that brings a sense of happiness that you wouldn't think would, but it does. It just does. So reach out to a couple of people. You never know whose life could be transformed. Emily, Carl, thank you. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sharing.
Very humbled and honored.
Oh, well, I'm excited to get to know you both. Carl, I know you're going to be at my house soon. And Emily, I know, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Emily, are you coming to Wisconsin?
I'm working very hard on it. Yes.
Yes.
I am going to say yes. How about that? I will
Come
say
to
yes.
the farm.
Speak it to fruition.
Yes, just do it. Just do it. So listen, we'll see you guys soon. To all of you listening, please, please, please reach out to the person that shared this with you. They're here to support the very community that both Emily and Carl talked about, to just surround you, love on you, serve you, and problem solve with you. And you know what? Also have fun and laugh, because there is just too much negative stuff in this world. And this community has no room for any negative Nellies. Not at all. Sorry. God bless you all. And we will talk to you soon. Love you guys. Thanks, Emily and Carl.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Bye-bye, everybody.